Today's topic is simple. I want you to learn, what is an appraisal? What's the job of an appraiser? Why do we need appraisals done on properties? You gotta know what an appraisal does because it's going to affect your deal. It'll make or break your deal. The appraisal will make or break your deal. So you might want to stick around for this one. Hey, listen, the role of the appraiser is so important. It's so important. I'll say it again, it is so important. So I want you to know everything there is to know about it. Now, before we go any further, do me a favor, like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel. Last but not least, hit that bell icon so I can let you know when the next one comes out. Yo, the next one's out, and I want you to know all about it. Ready? Here we go. What is an appraisal? An appraisal is completed by the appraiser. The appraiser's job is to go to a property, to go to a home, and put value to it. Let me back it up. Let's start off with step one. You have a buyer. They've been pre-approved for $1 million, a loan for $1 million. The bank is saying, hey, we're willing to give you $1 million to go buy your property. And the buyer said, wow, this is exciting, man. I'm gonna buy my first house. And they hire you, the realtor. And you show them property, and guess what? They find a house for $1.2 million. And they're gonna put a $200,000 down payment down, which means they're gonna need a loan for $1 million. You got it? The bank is now involved for $1 million. The bank's not stupid. The bank says, hey, yo, hold on, buyer. This is the deal. Before we give you the $1 million, we want to see this property. The bank wants to make sure that if the buyer defaults and can't make the payments anymore, and the bank has to foreclose on the property, the bank wants to make sure that they can sell the property and what? Retrieve what? Yeah, the $1 million they forked over. If the bank has to put the house up for sale, they want to put a price tag on it, and they want to be certain that they can at least get $1 million for it. So what do? They send a specialist out there. They send a certificated specialist out there, an appraiser, to go out there and do research. To go out to this property and look at it, take pictures, feel it, touch it, hear it, smell it, check the condition on it, measure it. And they ask this appraiser, who's there on the behalf of the bank, to put value to the property. And they're gonna put it in a nice little folder, and it's called an appraisal report. Now, that appraisal report, the appraiser is going to include comparables. What are comparables? He's going to include in there, which is the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes of the appraisal report. He's going to put in there the comparables. Other homes that have sold in the area that are similar to the subject property. Listen, the only way to put value to something is to find other properties that are equivalent to this one, or as close as they can be to the subject property. You want to compare apples to apples, not apples to bananas. So if this house is an apple, we're going to find more apples. What am I talking about? Let me slow this down. There are a few things that are very important when you're comparing apples to apples that we want to be pretty close and pretty similar. Number one is size. So if this house is 1,000 square feet, which is pretty small, but if this house is 1,000 square feet that your buyer is going to purchase, we have to put value to it. We're going to go out and find properties in that area that are give or take 1,000 square feet. How about the year of the house? We want the year of the house to be somewhat similar. The year of the house. If this house here that we're going to purchase, the subject property, was built in 1950, can we compare it to a house that sold down the street that was built in 2010? That's a hell of a difference. That's apples to oranges. And what did I tell you? We need apples to apples. Now, the appraiser's job here, of course, is to utilize the comparables. That's going to give him all of the information needed to put a value to this house right here. Now, all of this protects who? Protects the bank. If the appraiser writes up the appraisal report and he says, yep, this house is worth minimum $1 million, bank is happy. Bank says, hey, we're good to go, green light, give him the money. Give the buyer the money, let him purchase his property. But hold on, what if the appraiser gives it a value a lot less than $1 million? Houston, we have a problem. Let's assume the appraiser says the house is only worth $900,000. Whoa. Mother of mercy. Whoa. That's $100,000 less than what the buyer wants. The buyer needs that $1 million to purchase the property. And the bank says, we're not willing to give it to you because the house is only worth $900,000. We're willing to give you $900,000, but it's not enough. It's not enough. So what do? Well, one of two things. The buyer can, of course, come in with an additional $100,000, or the seller can drop the price by $100,000. Anyways, the negotiation process can begin there. The appraiser's job is simply to put value and not to negotiate anything. The negotiations are the responsibility of you, the realtor. So bottom line is this: the appraiser's job is to put value to a home, to give his opinion on a certain day, to give his opinion today. When he goes and does the appraisal today, his job is to give his opinion of market value for this property today. Got it? Now, that's protecting the bank. Now, how does the appraisal protect the buyer? Ready? Here it goes. Listen to me carefully. Buyer made the offer. And the buyer said, listen, Mr. Seller, I'm going to make you this offer. Here it comes. And you send over the offer on the RPA. Ooh, residential purchase agreement. You send over that offer on the RPA, on the residential purchase agreement, $1 million. And then that RPA, there are some contingencies. Don't forget, contingencies. What I call the only ifs. Hey, I'll buy your house only if. Hey, seller, I'll buy your house only if. And one of those only ifs, one of those contingencies is the appraisal contingency. Hey, Mr. Seller, how you doing? I'll buy your house. Here's my offer, and I'll buy it. And I'll go through with the deal only if it appraises at the value. It has to appraise at the value. Boy, that's beautiful. And the seller says, sure, I understand. And you send the appraiser out there. Well, the bank sends the appraiser out there. So the bank sends the appraiser out there. And the appraisal came in short. The appraisal came in a lot less than what the buyer thought it was going to come in at. What happens? Well, based on that appraisal report, which came in a lot less, and it's not worth what we thought it was worth, the buyer said, hey, I'll buy your house only if. And it didn't pass my only if test. It's not worth what we thought it was worth, so the buyer could say, sayonara, have a nice day, I'm out. Give me back my earnest money deposit. Let's get something straight here. You're only gonna learn this by going in the trenches, by experience, doing it over and over. But this will remind you and teach you that when your client, your buyer is making an offer, they're protected if that appraisal contingency is intact. And it's already in the RPA. By default, it's already in there. The only if already exists in the contract. Now listen, let me show you something. When it comes to appraising and understanding the appraisal process, I mean, we have textbook on this stuff. Look how much this is. Now, how much of this are you gonna need to know for your real estate career? How much of this are you gonna need to know for your real estate career? I'm telling you right now, this much. Well, we just discussed that the appraiser represents the bank who goes out to the subject property to put their value, their opinion on a certain day, provides that information to the bank. Bank says, wow, it's worth it. It is worth $1 million. It is worth what the buyer needs to borrow. Give them the money. Or on the flip side, it is not worth what the buyer wants to pay for it. Don't give them the money. So that's where the appraisal's decision makes or breaks the deal. The appraiser's job is not to kill the deal, but to give an honest opinion based on statistics, based on data, based on comparables of the subject property and comparables. Simple as that. Listen, if you've ever had an issue with an appraisal, do me a favor, leave it down in the comment section below. I'd like to hear about your appraisal issues. All right? Sometimes there's ways to negotiate better than others. If you have a way to negotiate when it comes to low appraisals, leave it down in the comment section. If you have any opinions when it comes to appraisals, leave it down in the comment. I'd like to hear your opinions on this stuff. Don't forget, every month, the first week of every month, we have a free intro class just for you. Everything about getting into real estate, changing your career to a real estate career. It's a beautiful career. I don't know what you're waiting for. Take advantage of it. It's a free intro class. First week of every month, go to our webpage, www.carealtytraining.com. We hope to see you in class. Have a great day.